12 years after the Kyoto Protocol was adopted to fight climate change, global atmospheric levels of greenhouse gases continue to rise. Scientists say that as levels of CO2 increase year by year, the risk of dangerous climate change becomes greater. Researchers speculate that temperatures could rise by as much as 3 degrees, bringing the prospect of sea level rise, crop failures and extreme weather events. But as yet, scientists are unable to define exactly what we face. Society is being asked to adapt to change while not knowing exactly what it will be. Euronews travelled to Oslo to meet Dr. Pal Prestud to see if he can lead us through the maze of speculation that surrounds climate change. A trained ecologist, he has spent much of his career working in polar regions. As the director of the Centre for Climate and Environmental Research in Oslo, Pal Prestud advises governments and NGOs on how they should act in the face of this growing risk. Risk is what this is all about, isn't it, really?
Yes.
It's a big gamble, isn't it, basically, between industrialisation and mitigating climate change. How should this gamble be played out, do you think?
We cannot say that in detail. We know that we are increasing the levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. We are quite sure that this has an effect on the climate. We predict that we end up with a climate change of about 3 degrees globally.
What would be the effect of a 3-degree increase in global temperatures?
Most scientists, they will say that we will have dangerous climate change if we go about 2 to 3 degrees. I think the most important reason for saying that is the risk of food shortage and water shortage. In many parts of the world, you will have a strong desertification pressure and droughts in areas where you already have a challenge when it comes to water supply and food production. So what you risk is increased chance of hunger, starvation, and then you may also have conflicts, maybe also migrations of a high number of people. Then you also have the chance of sea level rise. Most of the infrastructure in the world is located close to the shore. We have a lot of low-lying countries in the world that will really have big difficulties with tackling this if we have sea level rise about half meter or more than a meter too, of course.
You mentioned also that the result of a 3 or 4 degree rise in global temperatures could result in heat waves, etc., such as we had in 2003.
We had a heat wave in Central Europe in 2003, in France, Switzerland, that resulted in a drop in food production in France with 20–25%. And the primary productivity in the natural vegetation dropped by 30% just in one summer.
Now, next month in Copenhagen, we have the United Nations Conference on Climate Change, when all the world's nations will gather together. Yeah. Do you think that's going to have a positive result? Do you think that they'll get an agreement?
I'm pretty sure that we will not reach the agreement that we need. But let's hope that we come up with a good kind of minimum agreement that can take over after Kyoto, and that there is a will to negotiate further. One key to the deadlock we have now is United States. But President Obama, he needs a national platform before he can go out and commit himself internationally.
If we need leadership here, if the world needs leadership, is America the country to do it?
Yes.
Is it the only country?
No, it's not the only country, but I think that's the most important country. Europe is already there. They have their adopted policy, where the target is to reduce in 2020 by 20%, 20% energy efficiency, 20% renewables. I don't think Europe will go further than 20%, maybe not even 20% reduction if the US is not on board.
You're an optimist?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because I believe in people. I believe in the democratic systems we have. Throughout the last 3 to 5 years, it has been a significant change in attitudes and in political will to put this question or issue on top of the political agenda. It's a question about how able we are to change attitudes and policies and our thinking. And I'm not underestimating that challenge. It's an enormous challenge. It's about our win over strong economic interests, power between nations, between regions, between private interests, etc. So it is an extremely complex political situation to change. But we have the tools, and we have the recipe, and we know what to do.